Okay, today we're gonna be doing a reaction video on this guy and this girl. They're a couple. They're a couple on a date. They're not in a relationship. The guy is trying to get to know the girl. He want to date her, and they're on a date. And the girl's been talking to him about 2 days. You won't be able to really hear the volume because there's music playing in the background, and I don't want a problem out of YouTube about the music playing. So you'll see it. I'm explaining to you pretty much the context of the story. I'm gonna give you like the gist of the story. I'm gonna give you what the whole conversation is between the two people. And if you want to hear it more, you can go look it up. But you can see the two people and see what I'm talking about. But let me tell you exactly what happened. I had to make a video on it because it just blew my world what I was hearing. So,
because you didn't tell me you had 4 kids.
So the girl been dating the guy for 2 days. The guy been asking a lot of questions to the chick. She was saying she was being upfront. They get on this date, and he done been around her, I would say, the second time. He takes the girl out to this nice restaurant, Mexican restaurant. They got Mexican music playing in the background. So I can't play the video because of the music, but you'll see the video. And he starts asking questions, and I guess he asked some real serious questions, like how many kids, and she said 4 kids. And he loses it. When he hears 4 kids, he loses it. So then he tells her that he don't want to date a woman that has 4 kids. That he liked everything about her, but he don't want to date her because of the 4 kids. And then she proceeds to say, well, I'm going to record you and I'm going to out you so that no women with kids will date you, or no women will want to date you. Like, she really thinks she's outing him. She ain't outing him on shit. A lot of men feel that way. And he didn't care. He told her, he said, well, whatever, but I'm not going to date you. And then she wanted to know why, because she really liked him. And she told him he wasn't going to have to worry about her kids. She wasn't asking him to do nothing for her kids. And he's like, but that's not true, because as I continue to talk to you, down the road, it's going to come up and you're going to be expecting me to do stuff for your kids. And then she turns right around in the next breath, as soon as he says that, and says, well, yeah, you're going to be expected to do that. You're the man. You're going to be expected to do it. Their daddies are not in their life. And he's like, daddies? And she's like, yeah, I got 3 baby daddies. And he's like, hell no. He's like, 1 baby, you that person. That could be maybe a mistake. He said 2, it's kind of iffy. He said, but then 3 times, nah, you that type of person. He said, but 4? He said, yeah, you definitely that person. And she's like, I'm not that type of person. And he's like, yeah, that's just who you are. You got 4 kids and 3 baby daddies. He said, no, I definitely can't date you. You should have told me this up front. You should have been up front and told me this instead of lying to me. Her argument was, she didn't lie to him. She just didn't tell him the whole truth. She just didn't tell him. Ladies, listen to me. If you withhold something and a person asks you and you withhold important information like that, if you withhold anything, you're lying. Because now you're twisting the truth. The truth is the truth, and that's it. You either going to be all the way up front and be straight up about it, or you're not. But you can't sit there and say you told somebody everything and you didn't tell them everything, and then the shit comes up and expect people not to trip. This is a serious situation. Anybody would flip off for something like this. Well, then she proceeds to say, well, why are you, talking to me? He says, I wouldn't if I would have known, the situation. She said, well, that doesn't matter. Me having 4 kids don't matter. And he's like, yes, it does matter. And she's like, no. He's like, yeah, because I would have did things differently had I known. He says, I don't want to date a woman who has kids. So she's like, oh, so you don't want to date a woman with kids? You can't take care of me and my 4 kids? He said, yeah, I could take care of you and your 4 kids, but I don't want to take care of you and your 4 kids. So she's like, well, that's why I'm videoing you to out you to all the other women. And he's like, listen, you cool, but I can't date you and I can't deal with you like that. And I'm not going to even, I was going to pay for the meal, but I'm not paying for the meal. So she's like, you ain't going to pay for the meal. The food's on the table, by the way, guys. On both sides, the food is on the table, but he hasn't touched anything because they had just brought the food. And he's like, yo, I'm not even eating this food with you. I'm not even this. I feel like I, basically wasted my time. So he's like, no, I'm leaving. And she's like, you're going to leave? And he's like, yeah, I don't even want to be here with you like that. I mean, you lied. And he kept going about the lie, and that was a real big deal. Ladies, men don't like it when you lie. No one man wants a liar. No man wants that. Nobody wants that. You're already coming to somebody with baggage, and then you want all these things. The least you could do is be honest. They're going to find out. Men ain't stupid. They just don't say anything, and they wait to find all the information out. So those who think that you're going to fool them in, you're not. You're only going to buy some time. And then in that time that they're doing all these things is under a false pretense. And in that time they're doing all these things, they're going to feel like you used them. And they're really going to cut you off. And it ain't going to end on a good note. You won't want nobody using you or playing with you like that. Don't play with them. It's a respect thing to me. Well, she then says, well, I don't got no money to pay for this meal because I got 4 kids. And he's like, well, call one of your many baby daddies. And she's like, I ain't calling my baby daddies. I ain't got nobody you gonna pay for this meal. And he says, no, I'm not, because you lied. He said, well, I'll pay for my side and you just pay for yours. And she's like, nah, you gonna pay for it all. I got 4 kids. And he's like, you got 3 baby daddies. Call one of them to pay for your meal. And she's like, I'm not going to call them. You going to pay for it. So he just got up and walked out and didn't pay for anything. And she proceeded and followed him in the parking lot with her camera. And then there I'll let you hear what's being said. But basically, he's telling her he's not giving her a ride home because she's like, oh, you just going to leave me here? And he's like, yeah, call an Uber. And she's like, oh, I came with you. I don't have a way home. And he's like, but before she said all that, when she followed him in the parking lot, she proceeded saying that she was outing him and she was videoing him to out him so nobody would want to date him and this and this and that. And he was upset about the shit she was saying about recording him. But at the end of the day, he still felt how he felt and he said it. So, ladies, I don't know how you could say some real crazy shit to somebody, put them on camera and talk real trash on top of the lie you told, and then expect the man to give you a ride home. Y'all just backwards in y'all thinking. So he liked the girl and everything, but the 4 kids, the 3 baby daddies, that's ran through. That was a bust down. That's been passed around. He don't want that. And he got in his car and he told her to call an Uber. He ain't giving her a ride, and that's it. And he got in his car and she was saying something. He said, call one of your many baby daddies. And he drove off. End the story. Now, giving you the gist of the story, that's pretty much everything that was said in that conversation. The guy was very angry because he felt, lied to. He felt betrayed, deceived, and used.
So, you didn't think that I was going to follow you? You didn't think I was going to follow you? Like, you're not going to take me home?
No, I'm not taking you home.
What do you mean?
No, you got call one of your many baby daddies. I'm not taking you home.
My baby daddy, like, bro, like, I ride with you, so how you think that I'm supposed to get home?
You should have thought about that when you was lying, man.
Bro.
I'm out, yo.
Bro, that's not even cool.
Hey, Uber, you can use Uber. Bye.
That's not even cool, bro.
It's cool.
That's not even cool.
And And she did do that, because that's the way anybody would have interpreted it. He would have did things differently had he to know she had 4 kids and 3 baby daddies. That's a very important thing. He's like, you should be telling someone this up front. She was like, well, I only been talking to you 2 days. Why should I tell you my business? And he was like, why shouldn't you? You're getting to know somebody that's important. You need to tell them. You don't know if they got kids or not. He said, why don't you just date a man with kids? And she wanted to date a man who didn't really have kids. Then she asked him, do you got kids? And he said no, and she knew he didn't have no damn kids. That's why she wanted to date him. And she said, I don't want to date somebody with kids. I wanted to talk to you. And he's just like, no. So I agree with what the guy said. Not talking to her no more. I totally agree with that. 4 kids, 3 baby daddies, that's a lot of baggage to deal with. That's a lot of drama to deal with. And she ain't really gonna bring nothing to the table but baggage, and expect this man with his money and his stuff to pay for the other men's kids. And then what's she gonna offer him? To be number 5? I don't even think she was gonna give no more kids, because she got 4 already. So what she think, a man gonna be with her and not get nothing out of the deal and just foot the bill for another man what he done created in them? And he asked her, he said, you ever been married? And she said no, but I want to be married. And he's like, you should have just stayed with your baby daddies. And she's like, that's rude and disrespectful, but he's telling her the truth. Ladies, listen, she done made 4 kids. One of the baby daddies got 2 kids, because she got 3 baby daddies. She should have stayed with whoever she made her 2 kids with. She should have stayed with one of her baby daddies. Ladies, when you make children like that, you might as well just stay with one of them baby daddies, because ain't no man gonna want you with no 3, 4 kids. They not gonna want you. They just not gonna want to deal with it. So it just ain't worth it. You know, sex, and then you gotta pay all these your stuff plus her stuff, and then she done made all these debts and brought all this baggage to your doorstep, and you gonna have to deal with that now. Call your baby daddies. The person don't want to deal with that. You should have told them up front. You wouldn't be in that situation. To me, the lady got lucky, because at least he was straight up. He could have drug her ass in the mud. He could have went on ahead and took her on that date and took her and banged her up, and then cut her ass off and not talk to her ass no more, because she lied. And he would have had every right to do so, because he's spending money and time into it, and she didn't tell the truth. That's how a lot of men would do you ladies. But I agree with him. I would have cut off, but I wouldn't be in that situation, because I'd be asking questions. We wouldn't be at no expensive restaurant, because I would have been asking questions from day one. I'm not putting myself in that situation. I done been through it, but I would ask questions, and I would get her to tell me the stuff. If she got kids, hey, say you got kids. How many you got? How many baby daddies? I would have asked all these questions, and I would have known. But cool or not, nobody ain't gonna want to deal with no woman that got 4 kids and 3 baby daddies, and then you ain't never been married. Even if you had been married, I mean, that would have made it look a little bit better if all of them was from one man. But you talking about 4, and listen, this is what he also said. He's like, that's a lot of mouths to feed. He say 4 plus yours, 5 mouths to feed. He thinking, ladies, translation, he's thinking long term. And he were to date you in a serious relationship, this is what he would have to deal with. So his argument is coming from a future place, because it is what he would have to deal with. And it's a lot that comes with that. The baby daddies, the drama, he brings them to his house, the kids, he got to worry about what they feeling about his house or how he running his house. Nobody wants to deal with that. That's just baggage for any man to deal with. No man wants to raise another man's kids, and he made that clear. He's like, I don't want to deal with another man's kids. I don't want to raise another man's kids. I'm not going to put into another man's kids. He told her that. He told her that right there, and she got upset. Ladies, some of you just don't qualify for the men you want. Everybody not meant to get with everybody. Just because you want something don't mean you qualify for it. Just because you want something don't mean you gonna get it. You're guaranteed an interview and not a job. So this was the interview. She didn't get the job. That's the reality. That was the interview. They don't like what she lied on the application about. It's a verbal contract. Verbal, you're laying down your stuff to hook up, to get together. He didn't like what she put on her application. What she withheld from her application. That was the interview, and she got fired before she was hired. She got canceled. He didn't want no parts of that. And I don't blame him. Now, I wouldn't have left her at the restaurant. I would have took her home. But the food had just came to the table. She said something. He flipped. Ladies, it's best that you be honest with the men when you talking to the men. All men are not going to be cool with your situation and not going to stay there. Now, a lot of ladies might say, oh, that's a bad situation, or he shouldn't have did that. Oh, okay, let's walk down that road so we can all understand it. Let me take you down that road. Here's what would have happened. If he proceeded and went along with her and slept with her a couple of times and she really liked it and her feelings and emotions got into it and he just dropped her like a hot potato because he didn't want it, because that's what would have happened. He would have slept with her and slept with her if he even liked it, and then he would have cut her off. But he never would have dated her, and he never would have took her serious. Recreational use only. That's what she would have gotten. And the men that she's dated prior to him, that's what they did. For the same reason. Nobody wanted to deal with it. The woman her only options, I'm going to try to help you guys in this situation. She must have had a pretty good body. Her only options in this situation is to go back to her baby daddies or go get a below average guy or an average guy that's willing to accept it. Most average guys don't want to raise other guys' kids either. So her really only available option that she actually qualifies for is the below average guy. It's the guy that has a hard time getting women, that has a hard time dating, but he might be below average physically. So you will sacrifice the physical attraction. You won't be getting that for the financial. So he could be below average physically, but above average financially. So then you can still get the money. You can still get the guy to help you with your kids. He gets a companion. He's willing to pay for it because prior in his life, that's what he's done to get the women is paid. He didn't do nothing about his physical body. He didn't do the work. So this is what you're going to have to deal with on your end when you don't do the work. Physical attraction is always first. But in her situation, the other guy was in decent shape. He was tall. He was in decent shape. He obviously had his shit together. That's why she wanted to date him. But the guy didn't want her. Even though he was physically attracted to her, when that came up, just like that, it all changed. Ladies, this is the way we make decisions. Quickly. We're not like you. We don't get emotionally, oh man, I'm gonna know, because a guy with options can just go back out there and get somebody else. She ain't stopping his show. His looks and what he got gonna get him what he want. And she can never interfere with that. She made some bad past decisions. We all do. But that's on her, and that's something she's got to deal with. So now in this situation, her only options is her baby daddies, if she really wants marriage, a below average guy. Those are the only two options, and all her baby daddies are not going to marry her. And the reason they didn't want to marry her, excuse me, the reason they're not going to marry her is because they never wanted to marry her. 9 times out of 10, this is what was going on. They liked each other. The sexual attraction was there. He was sleeping with her, telling her all the shit she wanted to hear, because you guys like that. And sleeping with her, and they was doing their thing, and she ended up getting pregnant. And then when she got pregnant, it got to a serious situation. The baby daddy didn't want no more kids. He didn't want to have that kid. She kept the kid anyway. He didn't like that situation, so he cut her off. Her and the kid, he cut her off because she said at the table that the baby daddies, none of them were in their kids' lives, and she needed a father figure for her children, and she wanted him to do that. Any man that date her was going to have to do that. No, ladies, that's not true. Any man you date is not going to do that. That depends on the man. He's not really obligated to if he ain't married to you. There's a very important point I wanted to make too. She also, by saying that, is also said that she's made the same decision over and over again, that her baby daddies are below average men financially, and that they're below average physically because she didn't end up keeping anybody. She couldn't keep anybody. So she meets a man and withholds this information because she know that most of the men she done already dated done told her this. She already knew that the man wasn't gonna really like it, and she was trying to get him into her first and then tell him, and that wasn't gonna work because you got 4 kids and you got to be around your 4 kids. So eventually he was gonna know quickly. That ladies, that will never work when you got babies like that. You better off just telling the truth. So all her baby daddies are deadbeats that ain't got shit. I won't call them deadbeats. I'll just say she made bad choices and they just don't got money like that. And she already knew this before she made them kids with them. Most of the women know this stuff because they're sleeping with the guy and already know that guy don't really have anything. And those guys usually tell those women that they don't want kids with them. And the woman has the kid anyway. So, no. All these decisions, ladies, you in charge. You control sex and babies. And men control relationship and marriage. Men hold access to commitment in relationships and marriage. Period. Cut and dry. You can sleep with 100 men, ladies, but you can't make none of those men take you serious or date you or marry you. That's the man's choice. Men will only date you or marry you if you're special to them in that way. It's how you treat them, not just what you look like. If your attitude is horrible, they're not going to date you. Nobody wants to be dealing with that every day. Men like peace, ladies. They're not going to want drama in their life. And he made that also very clear. He said, I don't have any kids and I don't want to be dealing with your kids, a woman with kids. I don't want that in my life. My life, I don't have no kids and I don't want to raise or deal with nobody's kids. He said it just like that. And she got upset. What did she think was going to happen when she told him 4 kids and 3 baby daddies? Then telling him she want to get married, and he told her, your best bet is to go, it's too late. You might as well marry your baby daddies. Ladies, take this as a note. Why did he say it was already too late? Because I know y'all ain't going to comprehend this because you don't like what's being said. Take your feelings and emotions out of it and just listen to it. Why? The intent of everything that's taking place, look at the intent. Why did he tell her that? That's a very important point. Why did he tell her it's too late? You might as well just stay with one of your baby daddies. You might as well go back and get with one of your baby daddies and stay with them. You can't get married, it's too late. And she said he was being rude and disrespectful by telling her that. And he said, I wasn't being rude or disrespectful for telling you the truth. Why did he tell her that? I'm going to tell you why. Because he know as a man, ain't no man going to want her with those 4 kids and 3 baby daddies. Same results she got from all the past men that they left. The same results she's going to get in the future because ain't no man going to accept it. Now, you can say what you want. You can feel how you want. You can be in your feelings. I don't give a shit, but I'm being honest. Her only 2 options, and ain't none of them niggas going to tell her that, but I'm going to tell her. If she sees this, her only 2 options is one of her baby daddies, which they're not going to marry her because they never wanted her for a wife. She was good enough to sleep with, but she wasn't good enough for marriage. Ladies, listen. You might be good enough to date, but not good enough for us to you might be good enough for us to sleep with, but not good enough for us to date. You might be good enough for us to date, but not good enough for us to marry. Translation. If we are talking to you and we meet you, depending on what you physically look like in person, and the things you say or your situation will determine how we're going to deal with you going forward in the future. Men are future thinkers. So, quality men, they won't even want to touch you when they hear this. Just like he didn't even want a part of her. He could have still hit it. He could have been real cool, played it cool, slept with her, and kicked it to the curb like I'm sure all the men before him done already done. That's the results that she's getting, and she's going to keep getting those results and keep trying to hide something she can't hide. All the men are going to react the same way because they don't want to raise other men's kids. This is why you have single moms today. This is why you have it. Because men, ladies, do not want to deal with single moms. We don't grow up saying we want a woman with another man's kids. That's a used that's a used vehicle with over 100,000 miles on it. We don't want that. We want a vehicle that we can get something out of it too. What's in it for the future, man, if you already done ran yourself in the hole with the past, man? If you done ran yourself over the top level, if you done ran yourself into the red, into the overflow zone, then you ain't got nothing to offer the man of the future. And ladies, for marriage, you have to offer the man something if you want to get married. It's like this. I'll say it again. We have to give you what you want to sleep with you. That's that. Once we sleep with you, that's like climbing Mount Everest and putting the flag. All right? That's the flag. But now, if you want a relationship from us, you have to give us what we want for us to date you. You have to give us a reason for why we should choose you over all the other women we could have that we could choose from. Because he's got options. And he's going to always have options because he takes care of himself and he got his money together. Same thing, ladies. If you picking men that are above average, and when you picking men that are above average with money and the looks of the body, those men got options. They're not going to tolerate any of this shit from you. The old guy with very few options, that isn't that. The old guy that has a hard time getting anybody, or the below average guy that has a hard time dating women, they just want companionship. They would be willing maybe to pay your price. Some of them, not all of them, but some of them would be. So she doesn't really have a lot of options from where she's at. Used car value wise, she would be the car that had almost 200,000 miles on her. It ain't really much left in that engine. There's no value left in that car. It's not worth a whole lot. The man that gets that car won't really be getting anything out of it. There's nothing he can get out of raising another man's kids. The men who worked really hard on themselves, ladies, want something out of the deal for themselves. They want to have their own families. This guy didn't have no kids. He ain't going to want to be with her. He can't have no kids. So she already was going to get disqualified. All the men who have money. Now, in this situation, your looks just get you an interview. That's where the interview came. But if he had known that she didn't have any kids, if he would have known that she had 4 kids, there would have never been an interview. She would have never even gotten an interview. She would have got completely pushed out of the whole lineup. She'd have got canceled because she got 4 kids. She would have got disqualified. And I'm not saying it to be mean, ladies, but what I'm trying to get you to understand is the way men look at it. I'm just being honest as a man, telling you how men with money and men are looking at this. They're not stupid. We're not stupid. The way we do things is a logical way. We're a logical, physical creature. That's just it. So take it how you want to take it. I hope it helps some of the people to understand it a little bit better. I try to dissect this as best as I can to try to help the ladies out and make them understand exactly, where you are on the scale. This lady would be below average, even with her physical looks being above average. She would be below average. And I don't think she was that hot. She would be below average because of the kids. So let's say she was an above average woman. She was an 8. Let's give her that. Let's just say she was an 8. I personally think she was probably a 6. But let's just give her an 8. When you factor in her age, and then you factor in her physical look comes into play, she's an 8. But then you factor in her age, it's going to come down. If she's old, it's going to come down. If she's still young, it's okay. But now when you say kids and you say 4, this is average. She went to below average, just like that. 8 means nothing. When you have 4 kids, you're going to be below average. You're not going to qualify for the men there. Even though you can get the interview, you're not going to ever get the job. And it ain't a guarantee you can always get the interview, because that just depends on your conversation with him and what he's looking at as far as what you look like, and then you really looking that way in person. Because from the understanding of this whole thing, they met online, because he said you should have put that in your profile. And she couldn't have been an 8, 9, or 10 to me for real, because he would have had he would have probably still wanted to hit it. He would have still probably wanted to hit it, but he didn't want no parts of her at all. So he said she was cool. Hanging out with her was cool. He didn't even make a big deal about her looks at all. He just talked about she was cool. So her attitude was okay from what she displayed, but they'd only been talking 2 days. And you can't get a lot out of somebody if you barely talking to them in 2 days. For you to know all this stuff, you got to have these long conversations and really get into talking to them and listening to what they have to say, and listen carefully. Guys, that's the truth. But ladies, this is the way it works in real life. This is how you're being viewed by men. My personal opinion about the whole thing, he did right. I would have left her too. When I found it out, I would have finished the dinner with her. Let me tell you what I would have did. I would have gotten the information. I would have finished the dinner with her. I would have left. I would have took her back home, and I wouldn't have talked to her again, because she lied. She didn't tell me about it. That's one way of handling it. If I felt she looked it real good, I would have hit it, and then I would have kicked her to the curb down the road for playing with me, for dragging me around and not telling me the truth, for playing that game. I would have hit it, made her, she would have really liked it. I would have made sure she loved it. I would have hit it once or twice, and then I would have cut her off for playing with me. Don't do that. For lying to me. Don't do that. For wasting my time. I would have done it like that if that's the way she came off. Because he's investing into you. Ladies, the man is investing into you. Now, I don't want to be misinterpreted on what I said. I would have only hit it if I really liked, if she was an 8, 9, or 10. If she was an 8, 9, or 10 body-wise, I probably would have hit it. More than likely, I would have hit it. Yeah. But if she was a 6, or, average looking, or a 6 that's cute, I wouldn't have hit it. I would have still paid for the meal, because I ain't going to be petty like that. The food's already there. I would have paid for the meal. I would have enjoyed the meal. I would have kept talking to her, laughing and joking with her. She wouldn't have expected anything. I would have got her to talk more about her situation. I would have made sure I understood everything. And then, 4 baby daddies, 4 kids, 3 baby daddies, that's it. There really ain't nothing more that's going to be said that you're going to make him change his mind. Ladies, once a man hear 3 kids, 2 kids, unless you're a 9 or a 10, and even at a 9 or a 10, you drop down to an average or below average woman, because you got 4 and 3 baby daddies. You've been ran through and passed around. And nobody wants that. I'm just going to keep it 100. Nobody wants that. So the reality of the situation is really simple. He didn't handle it wrong. I would have hurt me personally. I would have finished the meal with her because I would have felt used. But the money will come and go. This will be the only meal she'll get, and we'll treat it like Jesus did with the Last Supper, because this will be her last supper with me. That's how I would handle it. This is the Last Supper. Boom, done deal. We'd have had a great time. I would have been cool and joked and laughed with her. She wouldn't have thought nothing of it. I would have made sure she knew I was a cool guy. I would have made sure she knew I was a gentleman. I would have made sure she knew I had it like that. I would have gave her a nice hug, because I know she's physically attracted to me. She obviously was physically attracted to him. She went on a date with him. And she wanted to date him. I would have dropped her off, and I would have not talked to her again. And then if she would have started hitting me up and talking shit, then I would have told her, look, you lied. You had four kids and 3 baby daddies. And I don't want a woman like that representing me in a relationship, being my lady. Ladies, it boils down to you representing the guy. We don't want somebody representing us with that kind of reputation. A man that has worked on himself, we are men throughout time, as long as I've been looking at it, it's all about respect for a man. When he builds himself up, his status up, it's respect. We don't build up to be disrespected. We build up to be respected. The men won't respect him if he has a woman with 4 kids and 3 baby daddies. Well, look at him like he's crazy. Like, what's wrong with the guy? And they ain't even his kids. Oh, hell no. Hell to the no. So he has a reputation that he done built up. He has a status. He's not trying to let her come over and ruin that or make him feel some kind of way or bring that baggage and drama into his life. Let me tell you my personal opinion, what I've been noticing about this whole thing lately. Ladies, you're not offering anything. I said in a lot of videos that you guys don't really offer much, but now I'm going to tell you, when I've been looking at that even closer, you guys don't really offer anything. You're bringing in a bill, a debt, a baggage. You're you coming in is like an extra bill if you ain't helping the guy. You're just bringing him a bill to deal with. Maintenance on you, your stuff, your problems, your bad past decisions, credit card, credit. His white man look at all of that shit. I don't know, old white guy, he's got money, he's in the gym with me, he been retired, and he told me he broke up with a chick over her credit report. He liked a Colombian lady. She was bad. She was bad. He showed me pictures of her, videos. And I was like, okay, she looked cool. She had 2 kids. An ex-husband with 2 kids. Listen to it. I'm going to try to make it quick. He has a house. She has an apartment. She was struggling in her apartment. He wouldn't let her come to his house. He got a 5-bedroom home. He wouldn't let her and her kids come to his house. Listen to it. She turns around and has a whole bunch of bad credit that came up, like that she took out loans on student loans, and she owed like $80,000. When he saw that, he dumped her over her credit report. She was bad. She was an 8, 9, or a 10. And she had 2 kids. And he was an old white guy. Old. He was still had some physical shape about him. He's a good friend of mine. Rich, got his money. Retired from the military on top of him being rich. But he accepted the kids. But he's an old white guy. She's much younger than him. She's probably in her mid or late 40s. And he's in his 60s. Like late 60s. And the guy got money. He's in decent shape. And the guy was like, I kicked her to the curb over her credit report. And I was like, over her credit. This is the first time I'd ever heard it. But again, this is the white guy's perspective. And he got money. And I understood it, because my thing is, you need to understand what people are saying when they say it. So I ask questions and I listen. He said, she got bad credit. She make bad decisions. And if I were to get with her and try to make her my wife, now I'm inheriting her credit, because then she going to want to use my credit. And I'm not really feeling that, because my credit's good. And I don't want to, he said, I got an 850 score. I'm not trying to use my credit, let her use my credit or none of that. Or even, I'm not trying to marry her. She's not going to live with me. He said, I could see her, but I can't live with her, and I'm not going to marry her because of her credit and her bad past decisions. And he said, that's just it. He said, if you see a woman where you need to do a credit check on them. And I was like, damn, white guys are doing credit checks. The lady was beautiful, had a banging body. He been sleeping with her. I saw the videos with him. All I'm going to say. And he showed them to me, had a big smile on his face, but he didn't know about her credit. He had been talking to the lady for, I want to say, over a year. And he kicked her and her kids to the curb over the credit. Over the credit. I think he was talking to her like a year and a half. She hid the shit from him. But something happened where he needed to help her with something. And her credit report came up. And he saw it. And he was like, he didn't want to talk to her at all. And he kicked her to the curb over her credit. Said she made bad decisions. She had horrible credit. He couldn't deal with it. If it was not that bad, he could work with it. But her credit was over $80,000, student loans and all kinds of other stuff. She don't pay her bills. And her kids couldn't move in his house. He wasn't going to marry her. They wasn't taking his shit from him. He ain't splitting nothing. Those are not his kids. He likes the kids, but they're not his kids. He said they don't like to listen. She don't like to discipline them. There was another issue he had, and she didn't want him to say anything. So he said they got to stay in their own house. So for the 2 years or year and a half that he was dealing with her, they would not live together. He would allow her to come over, and he would make sure she left. He said she couldn't stay the night or anything at his house. He wasn't with it. And he dumped her over bad credit. He said if she had another kid, they wouldn't have never hooked up in no relationship setting. That 2 was the limit for him. And that was an old man with money. So, sorry ladies, but the men are just not accepting it. And some men are much more stricter than others. All I can say to you is the higher you go up in men with money, the stricter the men become, the more preferences they have. When it comes to marriage, ladies, we are very, very complicated. We're not easy when it comes to marriage. That's where we have our preferences. When it comes to us dating and a woman representing us and we taking her seriously, that's where we're going to get complicated again, because we want certain things when it comes to a woman to represent us as our lady in a relationship with us. We don't want a woman with a bad past representing us that's talking to everybody, that's in everybody's faces. Men like to keep their shit to themselves. And a woman that's all over smiling with everybody, showing her body, want to be friends, got a bunch of baby daddy, nobody's going to accept that. So the lady has 2 options. Her baby daddies, which they didn't want to marry her. She was good enough to make a kid. She gave them the highest honor she could give a man, which was babies. And them men would not give her marriage. So they don't want to marry her, so they're not going to marry her. They only saw her as a sleep with and hook up with. And it turned into that. I already know how it went, because that's how it always goes. If she was an 8, 9, or 10, if she was a J-Lo or a Beyonce, or if she had a body like that, not money, because we don't care about that. Physical. That's important. If she had a body and a face like that, they would have scooped her up and married her, and they would have locked her down. But she don't look like that. And they didn't want her either for whatever their reason was. But trust me, if she was an 8, 9, or 10, they would have took and ran with her. If she got a good attitude and she knows how to treat a man and she's 8, 9, or 10, they would have took her and ran with her. But she ain't that. So anyway, that's my thoughts on it. That's my thoughts on it. Do what you want with it, ladies. I hope it helps. I hope it helps you to understand men a little bit better and understand why she's getting the results that she's getting, why the guy left. I think he was a little harsh, but again, different men, different things are going to happen depending on how strict that man is, what his preferences are, what he will not accept, what he will accept. He felt betrayed. She lied to him. She didn't tell him all the information. He was asking her. He was upset when he heard it. If she would have went 2 months down the road and this would have came up, he would have done the same thing. You're not going to change the opinion. You're not going to change the mind. You're not going to change the mind of a man who knows what he wants. That's the bottom line of this whole thing. You're not going to change, ladies. You're not going to change the mind of men who know what they want. Men who have a purpose, men who have goals, men who have standards, they're not going to settle for less than what they want. So it's important that you ask the men and you're upfront and tell the men the truth from the beginning so you don't waste your time and they don't waste yours. Because if you go down that road, you're just going to get your feelings in it. He's going to find out something about he's going to find that out. And when he finds that out, he's going to kick you to the curb or you're going to become recreational use only. Either way, you're still going to get kicked to the curb. So that's what I'm going to tell you because that's the truth. Hey, do what you want to do with it. Anyway, I hope the video helps. Peace. Okay, guys, if you like my video, give me the thumbs up. Okay, I put up a new video almost every day or every other day. So.
Meow.